Hello, our topic today is misplaced and dangling modifiers. That's going to help us to see how we can accurately use modifiers because modifiers play a very important part of our constructions. If they are used appropriately, we would mean what we mean and our sentences will be beautiful. On the other hand, if they are used badly, our sentences may look something like this. There's a mismatch. The jacket, the tie, the shirt, the trousers, the shoes are all bigger than the boy. So our sentence will look something like this if our modifiers are not used appropriately. It could also look like something like this. These canvases are bigger than the boy. It will be a mismatch or a misfit. So we need to use our modifiers appropriately to be able to have good constructions and mean what we mean. So placing modifiers properly. Modifiers could be single adjectives, adverbs, phrases, and clauses. Modifiers must be close to what they modify. So we now learn that modifiers could be just a single word. It could be more than a word. Whatever the case, whether they are words or phrases or clauses, the rule is that a modifier should be close to what it modifies. So let's take the examples. Example one says the tall man was awarded the first prize. Now we can see that the modifier is tall, is close to man. It makes sense. We held a girl who saved the child's life. Who saves the child's life is a whole clause, but it modifies the girl, and therefore it's close to the girl. It makes sense. Example three, the boys in the hostel were happy to see me. In the hostel is a phrase, a prepositional phrase to be precise, modifies boys, close to boys. We can all benefit by listening attentively. Attentively is a single word over here. It modifies listening, and therefore it is close to listening. So the rule is that whatever modifier we use, it must be close to what it modifies. So simple as that. You cannot, uh, if you have a shirt, you wear it. If it is not worn, it's not on your body. It's the same with modifiers and what they modify. So if you do that well, it will look something like Idris Elba, whereas jacket, tie, shoes, trousers, very fitting, everything well done. So our modifiers used appropriately would look something like this. Then we come to using adverb modifiers. There could be problem in this one. Occasionally, moving adverb modifiers cause unexpected problems because we must be careful in using adverbs. It means that adverbs are able to move. They can be at the beginning of a sentence, they could be in the middle, they could be at the end. But if we are not careful, we could use them wrongly because they may be close to something they are not supposed to be close to, and they may end modifying that, bringing confusion or unexpected result or constructions. So let's look at this one. Example one, Murdoch only ate the kinky. Now, if you look at this sentence, you wonder what else could be done to kinky apart from eating it? Because the only modifies ate, and he only ate the kinky. What else is done to kinky? Do we smash kinky against the wall or something? You may wonder. So only should actually be placed before Murdoch, which would be only Murdoch ate the kinky, and that would mean that no other person but him alone. Example two, the men were warned about reckless driving by their instructor. The question is, who is now doing the reckless driving? The men or the instructor? Now, the warning actually is done by the instructor, and therefore the modifiers by the instructor should be close to warned. So the men were warned by their instructor about reckless driving. Then it becomes more meaningful. Example three, re-practice for the audition in the gym. Now the question comes, is the audition done in the gym or the practicing? Of course, obviously, it is more likely to be the practicing than the audition. So you move the modifiers in the gym close to practice. So re-practice in the gym for the audition. That makes it very beautiful. So let's remember, modifiers have to be close to what they modify, or else we would bring confusion or unexpected problems in our constructions. Now we want to move on to avoiding dangling modifiers. What is a dangling modifier? When a phrase or a clause is placed next to a word it cannot modify sensibly, it's called dangling modifier. So a phrase or a clause is close to something that it cannot modify. If it doesn't modify, it doesn't make sense. The sentence is weird. It's very strange. When that happens, that type of modifier that is not sensibly modify what is near is called a dangling modifier. So we're going to have some examples to clarify that. Example one, to be healthy, doing regular exercise is important. Now the question, who to be healthy? Who? What? But if you look at the sentence as it is, doing regular exercise is what to be healthy is modifying. But regular exercise cannot be modified, can it? So you have to introduce a human subject over here. For one to be healthy, doing regular exercise is important. For John to be healthy, for us to be healthy, any which way, that will clear away the dangling modifier would be fine. Example two, while getting ready to leave, heavy rain began to fall. Over here, it looks just like heavy rain is the one getting ready to leave. But this is impossible. This has to be a human. So while we were getting ready to leave, while John was getting ready to leave, while he was getting ready to leave, or any of those wants to introduce a human subject, while I was getting ready to leave, heavy rain began to fall. So you introduce a human subject in the modifier, and then the problem is solved. To get a driver's license, a test must be passed. To get a driver's license, a test must be passed. For one to get a driver's license, for you to get a driver's license, for Kofi, for John, for Cosmas, for anybody to get a driver's license, a test must be passed. Then you clear that dangling modifiers. Example four, while babysitting, the dog ate my lunch. Over here, it's as though it is the dog doing the babysitting and at the same time eating my lunch. But it is a somebody doing the babysitting. So while she was doing the babysitting, the dog ate. Well, over here, because my lunch would be while I was babysitting, the dog ate my lunch. While I was babysitting, the dog ate my lunch. Example five, I spotted some dogs eating my lunch at the park. Of course, uh, the dogs were not the one eating the lunch. It was I, definitely. So I spotted some dogs when I was eating my lunch at the park. Will clear the confusion over there. So we need to avoid we need to avoid the use of dangling modifiers in order to have a beautiful, meaningful sentences. If they are wrongly used, we could have unexpected results or unexpected problems in the way our sentences sound, and it will mean something else outside what we really wanted to convey. So based on that, we're going to have some exercise regard to misrelated and dangling modifiers. So let's look at these sentences to see whether we can correct them with focus on dangling modification or misrelated modifiers. For 3 days, I almost ate nothing. What is the problem here? The problem is with the modifier almost. Should it be modifying eating? No. So for almost 3 days, I ate nothing. So almost will modify 3 days. For almost 3 days, I ate nothing. You move almost to 3 days. I found a purse in the library stuffed with money. Over here, the modifier in question is stuffed with money and it's right after library. But it is not a library that is stuffed with money, it is the purse. So what do? You move the modifier stuffed with money close to what they are supposed to modify, which is the purse. So we have, I found a purse stuffed with money in the library. 3, while eating supper, the phone rang. It is as though the phone is the one eating supper. That's impossible. In Hollywood, yes. In cartoons, yes. In reality, no. So while I was eating supper, while he was eating supper, he introduced a human subject. The phone rang. 4. Looking out the plane, the clouds resemble the sea. It's as though the clouds are the ones looking out the plane. That's impossible because the clouds are, of course, bigger than the plane. So when I look out the plane, the clouds resemble the sea. Or when you look out the plane, the clouds resemble the sea. All you need to do is to introduce a human subject in the modifier, which is actually looking out the plane in this question. 5, coming down with flu, mom gave the baby some medications. Coming down with flu, mom gave the baby some medications. Is it mom coming down with flu at the same time giving the baby some medications? No, that wouldn't make sense. If the baby is the one coming down with flu, then it would make sense that mom would give it some medication. So coming down with flu, the baby was given some medications by mom, for example. So the baby is now close to the, the modifiers coming down with flu. We'll move on to 6. To become a guitar player, practice is unavoidable. So who? Practice cannot become a guitar player, but so it seems over here. So you introduce a human subject to the dangling modifier. So for one to become a guitar player, if you want to become a guitar player, practice is unavoidable. 7, after canceling the program, I sent a strong protest to the company. Over here, it seems that I am the one canceling the program at the same time sending a strong protest to the company. That wouldn't make sense. So it's a company that canceled the program. So it could be after the company canceled the program, I sent it a strong protest. 8, to have a proper rest, the bed must be clean and comfortable. In this case, it is as though the bed is what must have the proper rest. It's supposed to be human. So for one to have a proper rest, the bed must be clean and comfortable. For you to have a proper rest, the bed must be clean and comfortable. So you introduce a human subject over there. 9, to solve dangling modifiers, attention must be paid to our placement of modifiers. To solve dangling modifiers, attention must be paid to our placement of modifiers. Over here, it is as if attention is what has to solve dangling modifiers. But it is us, it is people. So for you to solve dangling modifiers, attention must be paid to our placement of modifier. Or for us to solve dangling modifiers, attention must be paid to our placement of modifiers. The final example, leaning in a chair, the books on the table caught my attention. Over here, it looks like the books were the one leaning in the chair, but of course, this would have to be human. So as I leaned in the chair, the books on the table caught my attention. You introduce a human subject, that will be so. So it means that placement of modifiers play a very important role in sentence construction. If they are well done, we have good constructions. If it is wrongly done, we end in unexpected problems and have sentences that are difficult to understand or are completely strange. So let us pay attention to the way we use our modifiers so we can have meaningful sentences.